Guys, this is not good. Russia just launched an ICBM and it completely exploded as soon as it launched. I'm just saying, I don't think Russia's ICBM arsenal is up to, American standards by any means. I'm not really losing sleep over it, and I think most people overestimate Russia's ICBMs. Now, if I know anything about communist intercontinental ballistic missiles, I know that they're probably made with the same quality as their early light tanks. Dog shit. They cranked out thousands of them, and they're most likely pieces of shit. Now, that's not to say that out of the 6,000 or so they claim to have, if 20 of them are working, they're going to do some serious damage. They probably will. And don't get me wrong. I mean, hell, this channel is like quantity over quality, but, one or two of them are bound to hit. You know what I mean? So I'm not, just saying that it's a non-issue and a non-threat by any means, but it's still dangerous in and of itself. Now, you're probably wondering why the hell am I talking about it? It's because I'm referring to a video that was just posted online from southern Russia. It showed an intercontinental ballistic missile, an ICBM, launching, going straight up, exploding, and then falling down into a million different pieces. What does that mean? I don't know. It was just a test. I'm sure it was old. I'm sure it was probably poorly maintained. Russia's been doing a lot of this recently, and to flex their power. It's kind of showing like where they're at in their own war. When they have to start showing Western nations that they still have nuclear missiles, that's how you know that they're definitely winning the war. And the war I'm talking about is the Ukraine war. The war that Trump has said he would end within a week when he actually hasn't. Not entirely sure what his game plan is at the moment. From what I understand, he's trying to force both sides to peace at this point, specifically Zelensky, because Zelensky has been on the war path that he's like not going to surrender until all territories are regained. But the truth of the matter is the Ukrainian war is one that's more complicated than people realize. It's a really just a brothers' war. Like, these territories that were seized by Russia are definitely, as much as people don't want to admit it, at least Ukrainians from in the West, and the eastern part of Ukraine is more closely aligned to Russia. And, by proxy, they have separatist governments, and I would believe that most people, if you looked at the Ukrainian elections, the eastern part of Russia always votes for the pro-Russian president, and the western part votes for the pro-Western president. Ukraine is just that big. It's a massive nation. It's not as big as Russia, but it's still a massive country compared to other European nations. It's not as developed, though. Economically speaking, it's nowhere near able to compete. Maybe after this war it will be, based off the amount of Western countries, their companies that are going to be investing in that area. I'm sure Ukraine is definitely going to take advantage of that. Now, this war is going to come to an end in 2026. That's my estimate. Hell, it could even be sooner, but most likely in 2026 will be the end of the Ukraine war. How long has it been going on for? I think that makes it almost 6 years if it hits March, I believe. That's when it first started. Don't quote me on that. Probably wrong. Anyways, for what it's worth, this is definitely, the best outcome, I would say, is for Ukraine to have a peace deal with Russia that lets them seize those territories, because everybody inward is going to be so pro-Western Ukraine that it's the best outcome. It truly is going to be the best deal. I say that as if the best outcome would be, no war whatsoever and, hundreds of thousands of people not dead or injured. That would truly be, the best outcome. But if you, again, want the real truth on the Ukraine war, it really comes down to the fact that as Putin's poor justifications to invade are poor, it is true that, NATO has been trying to put in their own proxy president, and Russia failed at implementing their own. The coup way back in 2014 didn't change anything for anyone. If you ask any sort of Ukrainian citizen what that meant for them, it didn't mean anything really. Like, for their overall quality of life, it didn't change whatsoever. So really, Ukraine, unfortunately, is almost like a third world country in Europe, which is kind of odd considering that every other country in Europe outside of the Baltics is more or less a first world nation. And economically speaking, they were definitely low. This war is going to really pull them out of the shitty economic situation they've been in. It's strange how wars do that. Not saying that this one was intentional by any means, because I'm pretty sure Zelensky most likely thought he was going to capitulate within the first 7 hours, and that's what Russia really gambled on. That's most likely the truth. Now, I'm not, some sort of pro-Russian dude by any means. I know It sounds like because I'm not, blowing Zelensky here, that I'm pro Russia, but I'm actually not. I'm definitely pro Ukrainian. Russia was definitely, they are the aggressors in this situation. They did the last thing Putin did the one thing he knew how to do, and that's be aggressive, because he can't, for a KGB agent, it's kind of funny that he fails at espionage. Like, Western diplomacy is basically, half the time espionage. Not, I shouldn't say that. It's more like implementing the right people and paying off the right people. Whereas Russia has been just failing at that consistently, probably because they don't have as big of a spy network, or they just don't have as many powerful connected people. He's tried to, Putin himself has tried to create that through grooming oligarchs and solidifying power that way within Russia, but it just led to complete corruption, that blatant corruption, really, that even his own citizens are able to see through. Now, again, what does this have to do with ICBMs? And it really goes through the actual quality of everything in Russia. It's probably better than the Chinese, but still nowhere near as good as people are worried about. The so-called second greatest army in the world has completely fallen in a matter of years. I guess I guess it's pretty reasonable, but to a much smaller nation with way fewer soldiers and definitely not as good military infrastructure, they failed their surprise attack and they lost. Now, that's really what I wanted to get across today is the state of the Ukraine war and how it's most likely going to come to an end in 2026. I'll see you guys later.